Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, in the last few weeks, we've heard the usual debates about which new smartphone is the best. Is it the Samsung? Is it the iPhone X? Which has the best display? What has the best camera? And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that any premium smartphone that you decide to purchase will allow you to record and stream HD quality video all around the world. It doesn't matter if we are journalists, vloggers, video on our smartphones is simply amazing right now, and that glorious HD quality that you can record. But, and this is a pretty big but, in our quest for visual perfection, it seems that we've neglected audio along the way. Whether it is a holiday video or a podcast, the internal mic is just simply not good enough. I mean, what is the point in streaming HD video if the sound is completely inferior? Because it just ruins the whole experience. This is a problem that Philipp Sonneleitner decided to tackle head on in Austria. He is the CEO and founder of a company called Mikme, and he's passionate about being creative and making music. And his goal is to make music creation, the process of writing, making or distributing music, easier, faster and more fun for artists and their audience. But along the way he's ended up with a product that is reaching a much wider audience. Mikme is introducing the world's first fully wireless recording microphone that captures studio grade audio at the push of a button. Possibly one of the biggest aspects of it too is whether it be standalone or USB, you can use it anywhere. Now, the device was originally built to enable musicians, filmmakers, journalists, as well as Skypers, gamers and lovers of sound creating content fast, but in excellent quality, and with our mobile devices. Now, I'm quite excited about this one, so buckle up, hold on tight, because I'm going to beam your ears all the way to Vienna in Austria, so we can speak with Philipp about Mikme and how he's bringing studio-grade audio to our smartphones. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Neil. So my name is Philipp Sonneleitner. I'm from Austria. So my company is called Mikme and we are from Vienna. I'm 38 years old and I have a family with 3 boys, sons and a beautiful wife. And 4 years ago I founded Mikme and I'm the CEO and founder of a small startup, and we build microphones and try to revolutionize the content production.
Now, you created Mikme, which, for anyone listening, is a tiny microphone that aims to change your expectations for audio quality anywhere. But this is the big thing, without wires and all the hassle that goes with this technology. As someone that has recorded podcasts in busy conferences and even movie-style trailers with noisy air conditioning, this was particular of interest to me. So for anyone new to Mikme, though, can you just offer the listeners a brief overview?
So Mikme is all about how can one capture great audio quality very easily without any hassle and just with one button. So that's how it started. So basically it's a studio-grade microphone paired together with an audio recorder and a wireless microphone system, married together with a very nice video app. So that maybe sounds a little bit complex, but it's actually quite easy. So first, it's a studio-grade microphone. So it's the audio coming out of the Mikme microphone is as good as a $2,500 studio-grade microphone, which normally, so expensive microphones need cables. They need a mixer or a sound card linked to it. They are hard to set up. You need to set up the gain. They don't work standalone. You need a computer or another recorder. You need a stand. So it's not easy to operate, right? Yeah. And it's not mobile at all. So it's cables, stands. So we thought, okay, so how can one use that in a mobile environment? Because the sound of a studio-grade condenser microphone is pretty nice. So Mikme features a 1-inch gold-plated phantom-powered capsule. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a microphone you normally hear every day on the radio, or on very high-end studio recordings of bands. And then that's not enough. We paired that together with a built-in audio recorder. So there's 16 gigabyte onboard storage, so you can record up to 300 hours audio. And on top of, so it's a small squared box, basically, pretty small for what it features. And on top is a big red button, and if you just push it, it starts recording. If you push it again, your recording is stopped. And so it's very easy. It's just one big button at the top and records in 24-bit up to 96 kilohertz. So it works completely standalone. You don't need any other device. You put it on the table and you're ready to go. So that's how it started. But the true magic is how it's integrated with smartphones. So it also has a Bluetooth link. So you can link it together with your iPhone. And we have our own proprietary Bluetooth link. And it's called Mikme Lost and Found, which means we don't use any normal or standard Bluetooth profile, because they don't feature high audio bandwidth. So normally you transmit in Bluetooth only 8 kilohertz from a microphone to the smartphone. That's why headsets don't really have a good audio quality if you call from one phone to the other with wireless earbuds, for example. But with Mikme, we transmit the full 44.1 kilohertz in 24-bit. So you get the full audio bandwidth, and if you lose a packet from the microphone to the iPhone, we retransmit it. And on the other side, on the iPhone, there's a small free app coming with it, the Mikme recording app, which syncs the audio in close to real time.
What was the inspiration for Mikme? I mean, did you see an opportunity in this new digital streaming era, or did you just suffer some of those pain points with all the cables and things you need to carry around in a kit bag just to be mobile?
I think it's been a mixture of a lot of things. So before Mikme, I spent basically 8 years with AKG. So AKG is one of the biggest microphone brands in the world from Austria. So I was there 3 years software engineer, 5 years product manager. So I spent a lot of my time before Mikme with microphones and in the audio business. And on the other side, I'm also a musician on my own. So before I got the 3 kids, I was a musician. Let's be honest. Now I don't. With the company, the kids, I don't have any longer time for music. But I started audio engineering, so I did a lot of music, recorded a lot of music, and I was just a little bit tired about. And that was like 4 years ago. I already had like 3 kids, a day job, and once a month you have time to sit in front of the piano and record a small melody. And I had all those expensive AKG microphones, the Skypers, the nice iMac sitting, the cool apps, everything. And then I knew how to set it up. But because you have kids, you don't have a constant setup. And it just took me too long for a small melody to record it. So either I ended up recording it with the iPhone, which is nice because then you have like at least you captured it somehow, but the quality is not really good enough to rework it and keep it and keep using it. Or you end up setting up an hour or half an hour your microphones. In the end, your computer tells you that you don't have the license for this or that software, and then you mess up with the gain or the cables, whatever, just for capturing a small idea, right? So, yeah. And I thought, like, why is there no high quality thing which has just one button? Well, and then I talked, at the same time I talked with a good friend of mine, Marina, and she's a professional singer, and she just mentioned, I have this audio recorder, and I told her, that has a big red button, and she said, well, there's too much buttons around the button. So I get confused, and she's a professional singer, and I really started to wondering, so still, if there's a red recording button, but too much options around it, and then she had a lot of troubles, like figuring out how she then can mail her song ideas to her friend and stuff like that. So it's not just about the microphone, it's about what is the process of content creation. Like that you're recording this podcast now, so how do I share my file? So by the way, I'm recording this now with Mikme, so you would hear my voice now, hopefully in a quite nice way. How do I share this file with you later on? And how you put it together, right? So it's all about speed. It's all about high quality these days. But you only can get speed with low quality recordings or high quality, and you're not fast. So how can you be fast and high quality at the same time? Yeah. And that's basically the setup where the idea was born. So one button audio recording and studio quality. So it was thought of just for musicians in the beginning, but actually we found out that music is nice, it's a good business, but I think there's a way bigger business with media companies, journalists, podcasters, bloggers. Everyone who wants to reach a broader audience needs to step up a little bit on audio quality, audio video quality actually.
And you did mention there high quality content, and what I often think is that we're living in a digital age now where a $1,000 new iPhone is aimed at creatives who can instantly stream HD video around the world, all over YouTube, incredibly easy. But it seems that in the pursuit of this visual perfection, audio has been neglected. I mean, is that something that you found as well?
Yeah, I talked to, I think, thousands of people, and I was pretty surprised that huge media companies contacted us, and they actually, one of their key messages were, so really think about broadcasting more quality or capturing more content with smartphones, because you already have a super nice camera in your pocket, which is your smartphone. So these days, I've just seen, while I was driving here to my hometown, I saw a video about a chef which was shot on the iPhone X, and the image quality is just like amazing. It's incredible what you can shoot with a smartphone. The problem is it's only 50%, right? So it's an audio visual, and people forget about the word audio in that word, right? So that those big media companies, actually, they said, once we discuss about smartphone videos, there's basically one big thing we're discussing, and that's audio. We never discuss basically, is the picture quality good enough? It's good enough already. But if you, like your example, if you're at a road show, at a conference, and you want to take a video, so you take the video with your smartphone, but as you take the audio with the internal microphone, you're too far away from the speaker. So you pick up a lot of the ambient noise and just a little bit of the voice of the speaker, because maybe he's like, a couple of meters away, maybe 10 feet. And then it's just noisy environment. And it's a typical consumer, nice picture quality, but very consumerish audio. And you don't understand what the person is speaking about. And the audience is just skipping away to other content. So, and that's actually when those media companies asked us, so the microphone is nice, can you please make it work with video? That was basically 2.5 years ago. And behind the scenes, we spent a lot of time in manufacturing the product, so the hardware itself. Also a lot of time of making iPhone videos work with audio, which is the big feature. So we will release this right now, actually. So there will be a new app which lets you record, a Mikme app, which lets you record video with the smartphone. And we sync the audio wirelessly from Mikme in real time. And then we sync the audio to video automatically, so you don't have to do anything, which is quite a big thing.
I mean, I must admit that I was a little sceptical at first, but when I watched your promo video, and I think it finished with a line that said something like, this video was recorded using Mikme. I mean, as soon as I saw that, I had to get you on today. So your journey began with an Indiegogo campaign, I believe. I think it was about 2 years ago. I mean, did it take a little bit longer than you expected to actually perfect that product that you've got now?
A little bit. Ask our Indiegogo backers. So we're basically 1 year. So we started shipping this January to Indiegogo backers. So we sold about 2,000 pieces in more than 100 countries, which is quite nice, with a revenue of more than $400,000 in a month. We were a little bit overwhelmed by the success. Pretty happy that a lot of people believed in the vision about Mikme, and we also learned a lot of those backers. But then the truth is, we had a really nice working prototype, and even though I had an experienced team from AKG, who helped me setting up the product, but something like that has never been done before. So normally you build a studio grade microphone with a big fat cable coming out of it, and then there's another sound card somewhere which powers the thing, because it needs phantom powered. So you can't do this in a mobile device. So you have to put a battery in your microphone, and the battery with phantom powered microphone, there's no battery powered phantom powered microphone in the world. So this was really hard. If you put it together like with 400 megahertz processing power for the recording part, the internal recorder, it's getting even worse. And the worst thing you can do in a microphone is put it together with a wireless Bluetooth transmission. So keeping the quality high and making everything work with the iPhone was pretty challenging. And consistent production quality was also a big issue. So we produce manufacture in Germany right now, in Munich, to have production close and guarantee a consistent production quality. So this was quite challenging. So way more challenging than we thought, because in the beginning of a project you always are going, and I think you have to go a little bit naive and put a lot of energy into the product. And I think actually it's quite good if you don't know all the problems, because otherwise you would never start the project if you know how hard it actually will be. So, but we are out now, so I'm pretty happy that we made it through. This is not a one-time product, so we have big plans, other products in the pipeline, so it's more to come.
Now, there will be many creatives listening that will be very wary and probably come out in a cold sweat at the idea of ditching their bag of cables to solely rely on a Bluetooth device. I mean, how does Mikme compare with your traditional microphone and those bag of cables?
So that depends. So we did. So if you go to YouTube and search for Mikme, then you will find sooner or later you end up seeing this video we took in the studio. So we actually talked with so Mikme is available at Thomann, which is the biggest European audio dealer, and in the US at B&H. And we actually talked to Hans Thomann, the owner of Thomann, and I pitched the project to him 2 years ago. And actually, I think in the conversation, I just dropped something like, it's really, really good. And then he said, like, how good is it actually? And I said, I think it's as good as a AKG C414, which is $1,000 microphone.
Wow.
And then he said, maybe you should do a comparison video if it's that good. He was just joking, I think. And that was before the Musikmesse in Frankfurt. So actually, we went to the studio and I said, let's try. I'm not sure if it can be as good as a $1,000 microphone, but just for the fun of it, let's just try. And then we also set up like a $2,500 Neumann microphone, a vintage microphone, with another $2,500, sound card, preamp, everything behind. And then this is what you see in the video is a classic acoustic guitarist playing a riff. And we have placed all three microphones as close as possible to each other and switching back and forth. And a lot of people are really surprised. Basically, there's just a little bit of difference. And the one thing is a $500 Mikme with the audio recorder and the sound card, everything in a small box, wirelessly streaming to the iPhone. And the other thing is a $5,000 Neumann microphone. So it's quite good, but just go to YouTube and check out the sound files there, because you're going to be on our website. Check out mikme.com. We have a new website. And there's another video where we recorded a band on top of a mountain in the nature at LA with one microphone, two guitarists, two singers, and the band was just, when they heard the file, they were like, oh my God. So it sounds like a studio recording.
Yeah.
And that's typical reaction. So I think it's quite good. It's actually really good. But listen yourself and you will hear. So if you know a little bit about microphones, I mean, I can tell you everything, right? So I'm the CEO of the company, but I've showed those videos to thousands of people and I've seen the reactions. So check it out on your own.
Well, I will put the link to that video on the show notes to this episode as well, just so anyone listening can get straight to it. So, well, the next question was going to be, if I found myself at a conference and have one of these Mikme in a bag and I want to create a smartphone video and quality audio, and even record a podcast interview, I mean, how easy would it be for me to get up and running with Mikme? Can I attach it to my PC, or am I thinking I've got legacy thinking even going there trying to plug it into a PC?
No, not legacy thinking, but so we just get started. So for now, the Mikme is working standalone, so it works in different modes.
Yeah.
So the first one, it's completely standalone. So let's say you're just running around. And we wanted to make it as easy as possible to get started. So you just turn it on. There's a small power button, and then you push the big button on top. It starts recording. You would see if you get too loud, if you have problems with the levers. So if you overdrive the system, then it would start flashing, and you can adjust while recording the game. And then you push the button again, and you're good to go. And the file is already saved on the internal disk. With a double tap on this big button, you can play back the audio through the headphone jack. So there's a headphone jack on the device. And then if you want to move the files to the computer, just connect it to the USB connection. There's a small micro USB connector on the Mikme on the back side. And then it would show up as a thumb drive, basically, with audio recordings in raw WAV files. It's not working yet as a USB microphone, but it can be a USB microphone sooner or later. That's very, very high on our feature wish list, because I know all the podcasters want to record high quality Skype calls and podcasts and stuff like that with our PCs and computers. That's something for later. So we will continuously update the software. The second mode is you can wirelessly remote control from the app. So you don't have to stream the audio if you don't want to. Just, like an ordinary remote control. The third thing is you can wirelessly stream audio to your iPhone and just record audio. You never get dropouts because the local file is always saved locally. So no matter if you get dropouts, if your phone battery is dying or whatever, you always get the full file locally. And at the end of the recording, if you hit the stop button, we will retransmit all the missed bits and pieces. So that's the wireless audio part. And we think the really huge thing is that's what everyone is asking for is now you can record videos in our app. And if you hit this recording button, the internal camera captures the video and the Mikme would capture the audio. So you're completely independent. You can record audio 15, 20 meters away from where you film your video, and you still will get like super close-up audio recording. And there's also a lot of videos about that on our website, where you would see how it works and what you can do with it. Because then video taking, so the video maker and the speaker or the musician can work independently, basically. You're not any longer tied to a car cable, or you have to be close because you want to capture good sound. You can just move freely away. That's how it's working now.
Excellent. So again, if I'm at that conference and I'm sat around a table interviewing several people, would the Mikme pick up all the voices around that table, or would it need to be passed around? This is me just asking purely from a selfish podcaster's point of view. Well,
that's not just a selfish question. That's a pretty typical one. So the microphone itself is directional. So it's a cardioid pull-up pattern. So it picks up sound from the front more than from the back side. So if we talk about different use cases, so if you just would walk down the street and hold it in your hand, then actually it picks up your voice pretty clearly, and will block a bit the street noise and everything behind. That's good, actually. But if you're sitting around the table, you could lay it flat on the table, and then the cardioid polar pattern, because the capture will point to the roof, basically.
Yes.
Would become omnidirectional. Then you maybe lose a little bit more of the directional signal, but you still, if you don't get too far away, it would sound still quite well. Or if two persons would sit side of the table, then you also can just use it normally and face it towards you. You have to play around a little bit with it, and we will post a lot of how-to videos to show different use cases. So it's actually even surprising to us, quite flexible, if you keep in mind that it's a phantom-powered studio-grade capture, because a lot of people some people are a little bit, disturbed by the fact that it's basically a studio-grade microphone paired together with an audio recorder and a wireless system, because such a device really don't exist. Normally, you always have like very tiny captures or dynamic captures. And as I said, like, your USB microphone you're using is quite big. It's quite heavy, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's heavy stand. So Mikme is really, really small. So a lot of people are always surprised how small it actually is, because, if you see it on the website, it always looks a little bit bigger, but once you see it in reality, it's only 7 centimeters square, 7 centimeters square, 3 centimeters. So it's really small.
I mean, I must admit, it's incredibly attractive to me, because I often get frustrated by needing to carry my laptop and a giant Blue Yeti mic, which is incredibly heavy, just to record a Skype conversation. So what kind of feedback are you getting from users at the moment, and what are they using it for? Are you finding it's predominantly musicians, podcasters, journalists that are most interested, or is there anything else that's taken you by surprise?
So, well, it's basically, you nailed it, basically. So it was made for musicians, and we found out through our service that we did to our backers that basically it's a third. So a third is musicians.
Yeah.
A third is all speech-related stuff, which is basically podcasters, half of the journalists, and a third is kind of video making, but also like DSLR video recorders, video makers using it as a standalone device. Most of the people, because we really don't have promoted it as a video recording device with the smartphone, they really don't know that we can do that. So we just have announced it this week. So I think the surprising thing for me is that the biggest TV stations on this nice planet came to our booth and asked us if we can make this video integration, because they want to use it for the daily news gathering. And it's like that biggest TV station on earth. And they found us and said, we have this small audio problem. And then now that iPhone 7 is introduced, this was like a year ago, they even took away the headphone jack. So where do we put all those our wired small lav mics? So there's no headphone jack any longer, and the lightning jack is blocked by our external battery, because if we live stream, the battery is only 1 hour or 1.5 hours if we do Facebook live stream. So we were surprised that there's really, from the top of the line, really those big companies are interested. I thought like more, on a prosumer, smaller scale content creators are interested. But in the end, it's the full range from hobby musicians to 25,000 employee media companies, which is funny. Yeah. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's got such a wide appeal, and I'm conscious we've got listeners in 157 countries to this show at the minute. So I think a lot of them are going to be asking, how much is it and where can I get hold of it? Now, you did mention, I think earlier in the show, around about $500 and B&H. So I've got to ask, is that the right price? And where can I get the hands on it? Is it for sale in Amazon, for example, as well?
It's not on Amazon yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
We launched with Thomann in Germany. Basically, you can buy Thomann, I think they ship worldwide, the same with B&H.
Yeah.
So it's in both, so it's 499 euros, including VAT, and $499 in the US. That's the right price. We know, people always want to get it cheaper, but I always sell it it's as good as a $2,500 studio microphone. So it's actually a pretty good bargain, especially it's not just a microphone. It's a microphone plus the audio recorder plus the wireless system, and it's damn simple to use. So it's, and we will continuously update. It's not just like a microphone. And what I really hated about, those mic hardware manufacturers in my old times, that we just published a product and that was it. So, that product normally kept its features, the same features all the time. And it didn't evolve over time. But with Mikme, it's different because we have to keep in touch or develop as the smartphone industry. We just evolves. We just tested yesterday again with first time with an iPhone X. And the iPhone X just completely destroyed our user interface. So we had to adopt it. It's working now, but there's no time just, to say to yourself, oh, that's it. It's a great microphone. No, you have to continuously improve.
Yeah.
To keep the speed with the nice companion device with smartphones. So,
well, maybe you need your marketing guys to say save $1,500 by buying this mic.
Oh man, I learned something again. Oh, sorry. No, I just want to say like buy because we're still like a super small company. We just get started.
Excellent.
It's a nice product.
So what's next for Mikme? Is there anything else you can share with us today?
So there's one big thing. So so we're not just a hardware company. We're not just like another microphone company. Actually, never started out with the idea I will build a microphone. So that the big goal was always how can one capture, produce, and distribute high quality audio video content on the go with a big audience. Because if you can do that everywhere, every time, just within minutes, that opens up quite big new revenue models. If you think about streaming, direct-to-fan, content monetization models and stuff like that. And then in the process of thinking about that, we figured out that the microphone is the missing part. Smartphones can do nice videos, but the microphone is actually missing. So there's more than, as I said before, there's more than just the microphone and the app coming. And the big vision is to cover as much as possible from one of the entire process of capturing, producing, and distributing high-quality content. Because if everything is out of one box or as much as possible, then it's seamlessly integrated and feels like a very easy process. Because right now, it's not that easy. Just syncing the audio to video from your smartphone or the DSLR camera to your audio recorder it's not fun. Nobody wants to sync audio to video. That's not the fun part of the job. The fun part is writing the story, capturing the story, telling the story. That's what creators want, right? As a musician, you want to tell a song. Yeah, you want to talk with me in the podcast, and journalists want to write a story.
Yeah.
So that's the long-term goal and where we want to go. And everything, hopefully, we keep to this goal. Everything is geared towards that long-term goal.
I was going to say, I love what you've done here, because you've created something that didn't exist before, and there's an actual need for it. Because we are living in that digital age now where we're all creators. I mean, every social network you can name is pushing the personal stories feature where you have to upload your own content, and then you've got holiday videos and things which have all got these beautiful HD quality, but like you say, the audio, you can just hear wind blowing and everything. It's awful. So
there's actually a really nice video. So a lot of people ask us about, it's a condenser microphone, so it's pretty sensible towards wind.
Yeah.
But it has this nice custom-made wire mesh, which seems to block the wind quite nicely. But if there's a lot of wind, really hefty wind, people are asking, so how does Mikme behave in those wind situations? So we actually did a video in this heavy wind with a windscreen, and we're super surprised that, works quite well. And then we did this A/B test again, iPhone video. My colleague was only 2 meters away with the iPhone, where the basic thing is just, you hear, so you also find this online. So it's quite funny to watch. And then with Mikme, at least you understand the voice and can follow the conversation, which is quite important, right? Nobody listens to this podcast if you don't get a single word what I'm saying. One of my arguments is always the biggest communication channel on earth is still talking. There's a reason why a lot of people listen to radio, watch TV news, listen to singers. They don't really, I've never seen a musician just texting or Snapchatting his music. They still do it in the ordinary way, using their mouth. So not everyone is texting. I know texting and all those chat things are quite big, but people still love talking because it has more emotion. It has more. I think people connect better with creators or the creator. The audience is connecting better if you hear the voice because it touches other people's lives. And the big thing is you need to capture your voice in the best possible way, which. Well, there's only one thing which can do that, which is a microphone.
No, I couldn't agree more. Well, I really do wish you the best for the future with this. I'm going to follow this one very closely, and I would like to get you on in, let's say, another 6 months' time and get an update from you guys. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming on and sharing your story today. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for inviting.
Let me tell you about my first world problems. I've earned my stripes covering the exhibition and conference halls, carrying an incredibly heavy kit bag that consists of laptops, microphones and cables. And anyone that creates audio or video in live environments will tell you about the challenges of capturing audio. And the ability to capture studio audio on the fly has the potential to be a game changer for musicians, journalists, vloggers and podcasters such as myself. And I'm really not surprised that some of the biggest TV networks in the entire world are expressing an interest in Mikme too. And I wouldn't be surprised when you're watching the news on TV in the coming months that you will see a reporter on the news conducting an interview holding that little black box. But just remember where you heard about it first. So I am going to be test driving one of these in the near future, so you can expect a full hands-on report on the horizon. But what do you think? I mean, does bringing studio quality audio to your phone sound appealing? And what would you use it for? No matter what a device is actually invented for, I'm always fascinated by how users will adopt and use it for different methods too. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes or send a quick email over to techblogwriter@outlook.com. Now, I've got 3 podcasts to record back to back today, so I thank you for stopping by and I hope you will join me again tomorrow on the next episode of the Tech Blog Rider podcast. But all that's left for me to say is a genuine thank you for listening today. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.